Hello, 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 and welcome to Courageously Kind. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Liz. We're twin sisters and best friends.
Together, we share stories of especially kind humans doing especially kind things, in hopes that these conversations motivate and inspire you to be kinder to yourself and others. When we're not speaking with an incredible guest, we'll speak directly from our hearts about what it means to us to be courageously kind. Welcome back, everybody. We hope you had a wonderful holiday season. We certainly did. And we're so excited to be back here on the podcast. It's 2023, and we have got a bunch of new and exciting episodes for you. We worked really hard to get some episodes prepped, and they're ready to go. And we're so excited to finally share them with you. This week, for our first week back since holidays, we are joined by the incredible Megan Snedden. Megan is the founder of The Kind Effect, a random acts of kindness movement that she will tell you more about, but is super awesome, and it has a very similar mission to what Courageously Kind's mission is, which is to just spread kindness and inspire people to share kindness with others as well. We're so excited for you to hear this episode, and we're so excited to be back 2023, and yeah, we've got a lot of exciting episodes lined up for you. So without further ado, here's Megan, and Happy New Year, everybody. All right, well, thank you, Megan, so much for being here with us today. We're so excited. We connected with you via Instagram, which is awesome. I love it. I saw your Instagram and you sent us a DM or a email, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is like a total no-brainer. This is awesome. So for those of our listeners that don't know what The Kind Effect is, what is The Kind Effect, and how did you kind of start this really awesome project?
These are great questions. So The Kind Effect is a random acts of kindness movement that I started a few years ago. And I always like to say it's like the thing in my life that accidentally happened.
The best.
The best, right?
Yes.
I know. I didn't mean for this to be a thing, but now it's a thing. So let's see. I guess at the onset, I was turning 30 and I was having the worst time ever transitioning into the next decade of my life.
Yeah.
I'd gotten into a car accident. I was transitioning out of the career that I had spent a decade building. My relationship ended. I moved cities. It was so much. So I was very down and also kind of disempowered because of that. And I had left my job in journalism because I felt like I always wanted to do something that had a bigger purpose, that I felt like I was making a difference to other people. But in that state of mind, I didn't really know what to reach for in terms of making a difference, because it's hard when you're down and you're going through so much to be able to channel energy toward others and giving back. But one of the things that I guess I was just kind of naturally doing was random acts of kindness. It's something that I had always done as a kid. And some of my friends that knew I was going through this transition noticed it and were like, I think it might be interesting if you recorded some of your acts of kindness and started making videos about it and like putting them out there. And I had zero video production skills. But then I took their advice. I was like, yeah, maybe coming from like a news background, maybe this would be kind of cool to capture some of the acts of kindness that I'm already doing and share it, because maybe that could be something positive for people to see instead of just like negativity that's usually in the media. And I had released maybe 2 or 3 different videos. A couple of them went viral, which is what had signaled to me like, hey, this is something I think that people obviously need more of in their lives. And I noticed the capacity that kindness and doing random acts of kindness had to, even from like a mental health standpoint, to help me. One of my favorite researchers, his name's Sean Aker. He's a happiness researcher.
Oh, cool.
And he writes tremendous books about happiness, which are all really great. But in one of them, he talks about how random acts of kindness is good for your mental health because you get biofeedback within your own body when you're able to see that like what you do matters and makes a difference. And it definitely just made me less depressed to feel like, oh, wow, you know, like what I do actually matters to other people. And then I just kept going with it and was like, well, I guess I need to call it something. I guess I need a website, you know? And since then, just haven't looked back. I've kept making kindness themed content and, you know, connecting with other people who care about kindness as much as you guys do, just to continue to encourage others, I think, to keep it top of mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our podcast was kind of an accident too.
Yeah.
I have no idea where it
was
came
it.
From. Yeah, like you said, we had no idea what we were doing. We started in high school, and yeah, it was a total learning curve. But I feel like that makes it a little bit more fun, I guess. I don't know, when it's totally new and you don't really have maybe like any expectations for it. It kind of takes the pressure away from like, I don't know, having to perform your best when you're just learning how to do it or something like that.
Yeah. And I think one of the greatest lessons has been that when you're not striving for success, it just kind of changes what success looks like and what that definition is. So I might look at success, and for me, it was like, oh, I've impacted X amount of people, or I've dared myself to do crazy and sometimes like scary and weird things. And that's what success started to feel like to me, instead of, I don't know, creating the biggest, best and greatest movement or the largest brand or the, you know, things that might be based in numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the more kind of crazy fun things, I love this, that you did is called the Kindosaur. How did that start? Can you talk a little bit about who the Kindosaur is?
Sure. I guess, you know, what's really funny when I look back on my life, anytime that I've been in a moment of adversity, when I'm really unhappy and not doing well, that actually tends to be like the best moment for me, where my best ideas come from, because I know. And it's all fun and games now, but then I was like, what am I going to do? Because the pandemic hit. And so I was doing before that all of these random acts of kindness that are very into, like, I was doing like free hug get-togethers, you know, where you're hugging people, or just very like close and interactive with humans. And then a pandemic happens, and then they're like, you can't be close and interactive with humans like at all. So that was a huge downer. And I was thinking like, well, what do I do now? Like, I can't host any live events. I can't like be near people at all. And on a day that I was just entertaining myself, when we were all just sitting at home doing nothing, I fell down a rabbit hole of watching all of the T-Rex videos that are on YouTube. And they're the best, like just cracking up so hard. They're like shoveling snow and playing basketball and like ballet dancing and doing gymnastics. And I just had this thought to myself that, hey, like, I don't see anyone else out there in a dinosaur costume doing random acts of kindness. And I was like, oh my God, the Kindosaur came to mind. And then I was thinking it was perfect for the pandemic, because I could wear a mask and then also have like this plastic bubble around me.
Yes, that's perfect.
I could still approach people. And I think they would be more stoked to be approached by a life-size dinosaur than like some random girl that just comes up and is like, hey, you know. And then also there was that extra barrier between me and other people that I think added some comfort. So, and I don't know about you guys, but I was so bored and just so tired of being in the house all the time that I was like, I need to do something.
No, for
I'm
sure.
Like, all right, guess we're doing Kindosaur.
I love it so much. I went back and watched like the videos, and they just made me so happy. I love it. So much
they're
joy.
pretty weird and random.
I love it. That's the best though. In a time where like we like, I feel like we were all so bored and needed that weird, random giggle, laugh, moment of joy.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
I know. I was like, if the world is going to give me crazy, I'm going to give crazy right back.
Crazy fun crazy, not crazy scary crazy.
Not scary crazy, but fun crazy, which are two different kinds of crazy.
Yeah.
The best was like when I wore that dinosaur costume to the grocery store.
Yeah.
It brought a lot of smiles to people, even the ones that I didn't interact with. Because I would go to my local grocery store and buy food for food drives, like during the holidays, or I was buying bouquets of flowers to give out to people at like Trader Joe's. And I didn't, surprisingly, they let me do all these things. I guess people like so in shock when they see a dinosaur walk into the store, like no one stopped me. So
it's like, yeah, I guess this is happening, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Besides the Kindosaur, has there been like a random act of kindness that has deeply impacted you? Like, I know it's probably hard to pick a favorite, but is there one that comes to mind when you think of like impacting you as a person?
Yeah, I guess so. It was one of my first ones. Isn't it crazy that like you spend all this time doing interviews for your podcast or doing things that are related to your movement, and you're like, oh man, like the good old days of, of some of the initial things. So one of the first acts of kindness that I had, I guess, officially filmed on my iPhone when I first started The Kind Effect, I just decided that I would put a call out on Facebook trying to find somebody in Los Angeles that deserved a bouquet of flowers, and had people vote and like submit who they thought would be worthy of that. And I got a submission from a girlfriend who was like, hey, my friend is going through a really hard time. She had lost her dad unexpectedly, and it's like a few days before her wedding. I'm like, yes, this is definitely something I want to do. Because when I was 25, I had lost my dad unexpectedly. So whenever I hear about somebody that's grieving or going through a similar loss, like it just strikes a chord with me where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can just relate so deeply to what this person must be going through. And then to have their wedding coming up on top of that is just, I cannot even imagine. So I coordinated with her friend to deliver these flowers in like a little gift bag to her. But I did something extra crazy. So her and I are talking on like a Friday. And at the same time, I'm talking to a guy on a dating app, and he's like, hey, let's like meet up for the first time this weekend. And I think by this point, I was so just over the dating and like over the apps so much so that I just did not care anymore. And he asked me if I wanted to have a drink. And I was so over the drinks. I'm like, I cannot have another cocktail. That I said, well, actually, I'm going to do this random act of kindness. Do you want to do that together instead? And I still look back and I'm like, how did I have the gall to do that? Because this is like such a vulnerable, like, deep connection story. And here I am with this guy being like, hey, don't you want to come? Want to get emotional together? And I still could not believe this, but he actually said yes. I'm like, okay, so shout out to Alex. We're sending Alex like good, happy vibes. Stand-up dude. So he came with me, and I came in full blast, like filming on my iPhone, and didn't even tell him that I was going to be filming it. But he was so just like gracious, and we like went shopping for flowers together and like did the delivery together. I'll have to send you the video if you haven't seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, you've seen it? Okay, it was amazing.
I love it.
And here's where things got extra crazy. So this is just, everything is always in my life I view as just crazy. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. So yeah, him and I did that act of kindness together, and then we didn't end up dating. But it was like, of course, wish you well. You're the best person ever. And then 2 years later, I got contacted by a producer for the Ellen DeGeneres show that was like, hey, I know, it's crazy. So they're like, hey, it's Ellen's 60th birthday and we're filling the audience with like do-gooders. Do you want to invite Alex, the girl who received the flowers, and like one other guest who is my mom?
Of course you gotta bring your mom.
And so I have to call this guy and be like, hey, no, it didn't work out. No, I haven't seen you in like 2 years. And that the last time you talked to me, I made you do like insane things, but here's something else that's crazy. And so then it was, so then I saw him again. I saw him and Haley, my mom, and we all go to the Ellen show together.
What a story.
I know. And I got to pay him back because she ended up, I guess it was sponsored by Cheerios, and they like they gave us $1 million to split with the whole audience, which was crazy.
What?
Yeah. Wow. But just a sidebar, once you split $1 million with 6 people and take 50% tax out of it, it's like not that much money. But the fact that I could look at him and be like, hey, like, karma, you know? Saying yes to people and doing great things because you honestly like never know when, because of your goodness, you'll be invited to the Ellen show and be able to split $1 million. So
oh my God.
I know. It's super wild.
That's amazing.
Incredible. Oh my God.
What a story. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Ellen show. Full circle.
The Ellen show. Full circle. Who knew?
Who knew? That's so awesome.
Yeah. So guys, you never know what's going to happen.
You could, you know, get a gift from Cheerios on the Ellen show.
You could end up, with a guy that you did end up dating that you kind of went on a date with, sort of.
Sort of did this thing. I love it. That was so awesome.
God, that's incredible.
Okay, so we've been doing some Instagram stalking. Sorry.
Stalk away.
This summer, you partnered with an organization called Kind Traveler and did a trip where you did like this ocean cleanup thing. Tell us about that. That sounds awesome.
Oh, well, first of all, big shout out to Kind Traveler. They are, you should interview them.
I was just saying to Liz, like this would be a really
definitely interview the people from Kind Traveler. Wonderful company. They have a give back model where, if you book hotels through their platform, then you get exclusive discounts for, using Kind Traveler, which then turn gives back to certain organizations that hotel will be affiliated with. And I'm good friends with the founders. And one of their partners was based in, I almost said Palo Alto, it's Palos Verdes, which is Tiranea Resort. And they already at that resort allow you to go kayaking and do like ocean and beach cleanup. So I just got to spend more time with the people from the resort and kind of see firsthand what charitable activities they're involved in and what kind of impact they're having on the environment, and learn more about Kind Traveler and how the funds that are being given back from bookings are going to make a greater impact. It's just every time I think that I know enough about what people out there are doing to make a real impact and be kind, that I learn about all new strategies to continue to pay it forward. And I'm just so like moved and impressed. And it's just such a great idea,
Yeah, absolutely. And like something we have talked about before, I think people forget that like kindness, we can show kindness to our planet and our earth and our communities. Like I think people think that kindness is just person to person, and it is, but it's so much bigger. It can be so much bigger than that. So that's really awesome.
Definitely
what they're doing.
Can.
Yeah,
I know. I'll put you in touch with them. You should definitely do an interview.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So cool. Awesome. Okay. Amidst our Instagram stalking, we also found a post. I love it, Will. We're in college for multimedia communication, so we're doing some journalism stuff. Yeah, and so one of the things they taught us is like stalk everybody on Instagram.
Hey, it's public information.
Like we're just doing our research. You said in a post one time that you can't stand the phrase "throw kindness around like confetti," and we totally agree.
Yeah.
I would love to hear more about this take, because we totally agree. We've talked about it and we have wanted to talk about it on the podcast before, but weren't sure quite like what direction to take it in, but we'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so hard because kindness is, for me, a bit of a controversial topic in a way, because I think it is important on one hand to encourage people to be kind and to keep random acts of kindness top of mind and to practice empathy and tolerance and kind of these characteristics that go hand in hand with kindness. And at the same time, I do think it's important to have personal boundaries and to protect yourself. And I think throw kindness around like confetti kind of implies that everyone on earth deserves your kindness, but it's just an unfortunate reality that not everybody does, because not everybody out there is going to treat you with respect, and not everybody is going to respect your boundaries. And honestly, sometimes, and I can say this even from my own experience with adversity, you just don't have it in you to give and give and give and give, because you have to filleth up your own cup.
Yes.
Able to give back. So I guess I always just tell people like, it's important to give in accordance to what you're able to. So if you're not mentally, emotionally, physically in a place that you're not, that you're able to give to the masses, then, don't.
Yeah.
Just focus on, like, you can make even when I was just talking about delivering that bouquet of flowers to that girl, like that, I lived in that moment for a really long time and just kind of savored that feeling and soaked it all in. And that was just one random act of kindness. And sometimes it's as simple as buying a candy bar for the clerk at the grocery store, like these little extensions of kindness. It doesn't have to be like throwing kindness around everywhere like confetti, because I think I like to personally do random acts of kindness and then have check-ins with myself after make sure that, to reflect on the experience. Like, what was that like? How did I grow? What did I learn? And really take time with it before moving on to the next, because I want also to like honor the people that I'm serving one by one instead of just like, and it is, I did say, an unfortunate reality that we do need to keep ourselves safe and maintain our personal boundaries, and really get really good at practicing the art of deciphering who we want to extend our kindness to and to what extent. Because the more that we keep ourselves safe and are able to like filter and monitor that, then the better of service we can be, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yeah.
To keep yourself safe, not only like physically, but emotionally, and keep your cup safe.
Yeah.
You can't give from an empty cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's a woman who has an incredible YouTube channel. Her name is Dr. Ramani Diversala. And she talked about, all of her videos on YouTube are actually about narcissism. But she has created videos on what she calls informed kindness. And I just thought that
I'm writing that down right now.
Informed kindness. Yeah. I just thought that was such a classy and yet effective way of putting that. I'm like, yeah, informed kindness over confetti kindness.
Yeah. No, I love that.
So important.
I think like within that conversation, you can talk about like the difference between nice and kind too. Like being nice and polite is great, but like I think kindness is deeper than that. And I love that you said that you like have this process where you reflect on the act of kindness and really kind of examine like what that experience was like. And I think throw kindness around like confetti, it just feels like we throw it and then we're done. You know what I mean? Like it feels kind of like we throw it away and then that's it. And it in my head, it almost like simplifies kindness in a way that
it's very
like diminishes it. Yeah.
Yeah, because the other factor I think that is important that kind of overlooks is accountability.
Mhm.
And sometimes accountability is the kind of thing that you can do for somebody else because you're looking after their personal growth as well. Instead of just being like, here, let me just shallowly be kind to you when I'm thinking something else, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that. I love tying accountability into it.
Yeah.
So important. And boundaries too.
Accountability and boundaries.
Yes, like
Mhm.
boundaries are so kind to ourselves.
So
Like
important.
I feel like it's really common as people pleasers, as people that want to make everybody happy and want to make everybody feel good. Like we sometimes like forget or ignore our own boundaries or don't even set our own boundaries, and then we are left feeling empty, and it's not a good feeling. So
Yeah, for sure. And not only that, but like in the past, recovered people pleaser over here. I would find that if I didn't set my own personal boundaries and I just let them be really loose and flexible, I would end up over serving and then like resent other people.
yes, exactly. I was just
Like,
thinking resentment.
not their problem that I overgave. It's my own, you know?
Right. Yeah. Such a good point. And it's a conversation that I don't think we have enough when we talk about kindness. So
Right.
I'm really glad
Right.
that you were talking about it. So important.
Yeah. And I mean, we are, I think, as a society, sometimes like at a kindness deficit, which, so I do get where they're coming from, is to almost like, let's really drive home the message of be kind and do kind things for others, just so it gets out there and reaches more people.
Absolutely.
So I get where they're coming from.
Yeah. I think it's good intention for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think the sentiment behind it is good, but when we like kind of dig back the layers, we got to come up with another phrase or something.
I know. I do
We'll
have to
work on
admit,
that.
their shirts and like greeting cards are real cute.
Yeah, they are. And
Honestly,
like
I'm
you said,
like,
like just getting it out
confetti.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I love confetti, but
yeah.
but I also love boundaries. So
Yeah. Throw kindness around and set your boundaries. Yeah.
and yeah, maybe that's the shirt. Maybe that's the shirt.
I love it. I think it sounds a little clunky. We'll work it out. We'll work the phrasing out.
We'll figure something out. Yeah, it can't be throw kindness around like confetti and set boundaries.
And set like
boundaries.
Little in parentheses, maybe. Yeah.
Working idea. Idea.
Love it.
Amazing.
So what's coming up next for the Kind Effect?
Great question. Let's see what is coming up next for the Kind Effect. Well, this year I was in Guatemala and I was collaborating with a malnutrition rehabilitation center, doing some kind deeds for their residents and was making little videos about it. So it's still on my docket to edit that content and be able to release it. And I have other things that I filmed in the last like year or two that I just never released or did anything with. And now that Instagram Reels is a thing, we can all think differently about releasing more short form content for people, you know. And then on my website, I'm currently redesigning that just to make it more user friendly to access, because I'm bringing back this guide that I had written. It's called the Changemakers Action Plan.
Ooh, love it.
It's free. So I'm currently like redesigning my website so people can have easier access to the free guide called the Changemakers Action Plan. And there's a kindness challenge on there that's linked to different studies that have come out of prestigious universities about how kindness is good for your happiness and well-being and all the things, you know.
I love it.
Always thinking of ideas.
I love it. I love that people are doing research on this now. Like, I don't know if they've been doing research on it in the past, but it feels like a recent thing of like people are really studying like compassion. We found on Instagram, like, I'm going to mess it up. There's some university that has like a compassion institute. And I was like,
is it Sussex, the University of Sussex?
It might be. Yeah.
They have a whole like kindness research wing. And then there's the Greater Good Institute out of Berkeley that's doing a lot of research too.
Ooh, amazing. I got to write this
out later. Look them up and enjoy.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. So cool. Well, we can't wait to see your new site, and we can't wait to see those new videos. And if people want to support you and the Kind Effect and the work that you're doing to make the world a kinder place, how can they do so?
They can go to thekindeffect.com and also find me on Instagram at thekindeffect.
Perfect.
What's up next? What's up next for you guys?
We're churning out interviews.
Fun.
I think that's like the most fun thing for us is getting to talk to people and connect with people. So we're hoping to do some in-person interviews. All of our interviews have been via Zoom. So that's kind of like a new world of like setup and microphones and lighting and that sort of thing.
Yes.
That's a goal for the new year. So we'll see how it goes. But
you guys are so fabulous. I'm very inspired and I look forward to all the interviews that you have coming up. So keep the kindness coming.
Well, right back at you. Thank you so much for chatting with us today. Yes. You're so wonderful and we're so inspired by you.
I'm inspired by you guys.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it.
How cool is Megan? We are so grateful that she took the time to chat with us. We're so grateful for you that you took the time to listen to our conversation. We hope that this conversation may have inspired you to do a random act of kindness in your community. And until next time, remember to be courageously kind, take care of yourself, and we'll see you back here real soon. We'd like to give a huge thank you to Anawalt's Landscape Contracting for their support of Courageously Kind.
Anawalt's is a family-owned landscape contracting company in Berks County that has served Pennsylvania for over 35 years.
If you're ready to get your landscaping project started, visit anawaltlandscape.com or call 610-916-7070.
Anawalt's Landscape Contracting, beautifying Pennsylvania 1 yard at a time.
Thank you so much for listening. If you like this episode, feel free to share it with your friends, your family, or anyone you think might like it too.
And if you want to support the show, leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It really does help. Or check out our merch store at courageouslykind.org. Take good care, and we'll see you back here real soon.